Yo guys, welcome back. I hope we're all doing well. So today we're going to be talking about how the dating scene is toxic and more toxic than ever. So I think if you're a young man like myself or even a young woman, you're very unhappy with how the current dynamics of the dating situation. So a lot of dating nowadays is predominantly online. Um, and I think I've spoke to a lot of young men my age, and I've experienced it myself that it's just not how it used to be, and it's not making anyone really happy, except for a small percentage of people who we'll get onto at the end of the video. So I think for a lot of young men, they're very lonely, they're sexually and intimacy deprived, and for women, they're very intimacy deprived. They're quite lonely too. They're not sexually deprived, but they're definitely not enjoying it. They keep getting messed around. And I think this is a big problem in our current generation. I mean, maybe if you're watching this from like a Eastern European country or Middle East where it's like completely different over there, then you probably won't really relate to this. But if you're from the UK where I'm from, or the US, somewhere like that, you will be able to relate to this quite easily, I think. So obviously all these kind of points are from my perspective and my experiences, so I know a lot of people will probably be disagreeing with me, as I kind of get regularly, so that's fine, and I'd be always interested to hear other points of view. That's always interesting to see how other people see things. But like I say, it's kind of from what I've experienced in my kind of early kind of dating life and what I've kind of seen from other people too. So like I said, modern day relationships are predominantly just online these days. So we're gonna kind of go through the male side of things and the female side of things. So let's take like say a 21-year-old single attractive woman. She downloads Tinder. Within probably an hour, she has 100 plus likes, and she will probably match with 75% of the people that she swipes right on. If you think this is like some type of exaggeration, you can go type in like, oh, I use my girlfriend's as yeah, I use my girlfriend and set her up on like Tinder as like the boyfriend did this, and you will see that I'm not exaggerating at all. It's just how it is, and I'm sure if there's girls watching this and they've experienced dating apps too, they probably kind of know what I'm talking about. And then you've kind of got the other side of the coin, the male. I think you see this in the video too. The girlfriend pretends to be the boyfriend, and this guy can be like quite an attractive, probably like on par with kind of the woman, in like level of attractiveness, because obviously dating apps are completely based on attractiveness. So yeah, she would you pretend to be him, and then probably he might get like 5 likes maybe a day or something. He might get one match every couple of days, something like that. And the girl like will message like the girl who's pretending to be the guy will message these girls and be like, hey, like what's up, like how you doing and stuff. And what do they get? No reply, no reply, no reply, no reply after reply. And that's just how it is. And she's like so confused. She's like, oh, this guy's like attractive, like why is he not getting these matches? Like, oh, I get so many lads just like messaging me all the time. Like I just don't understand it. I thought he would have loads of options, but it's just not the case. And I think a lot of people are really kind of unaware of this, and this is something that I really want to like kind of raise, because I think this is a huge reason why a lot of young men are like having serious like kind of mental health issues, and just thinking that they're just not good enough because they use stuff like dating apps, and then they see what women get from a young age, and then it's very difficult for them to kind of, when they think like, why am I not getting that? Like I think I'm like an attractive young man and stuff, and they see other people like maybe a bit older than them. They're getting what they want, but it's very difficult, I think, to navigate kind of the dating scene as a young man, as I have personally experienced when I've like kind of used dating apps. It just haven't worked for me whatsoever. So yeah, this is kind of like the two kind of sides of the coin. And there's plenty of videos on this if you want to like go check this out and see if it's like actually true, because I can assure you like it is true. And I can definitely say, Val, from a male's point of view, that is the case, as I've experienced it like firsthand. So yeah, we've basically got the man and the woman, both young people, both quite attractive. The man gets like barely any options whatsoever. The woman's got abundance. She can pretty much pick the top guys, anyone she wants. And then the thing is, she will go and pick the top guys. She knows, she's kind of known from maybe 15, 16 that she has the pick of kind of who she wants. But this, you'd think, oh, this is really good. So surely the woman's happy then. At least if the man's not, then the woman is. Well, no, that's not the case either. Because the thing is, all of these guys the guys that she actually like selects, very few minority. These are the top guys. At the end of the day, a young man, a lot of them will only kind of want one thing, and once they've kind of got that, then they end up kind of never speaking to the woman again. They just get ghosted, and then kind of that's that. They got what they wanted out of it. They've got plenty more options, and they'll just do that again and again and again. So this is where I think a lot of women get the attitude of like, oh, men are trash, and like, oh, men ain't shit, I don't need a man. And that's why also like women become a lot more masculine. They think, oh, I'm a boss bitch and all of this. Like, I think stuff like that is kind of, I think like, yeah, the dating scene and stuff is definitely linked to a lot more women becoming a lot more masculine too. So that's the kind of two sides. But then, as I mentioned at the start, there is a small percentage of people in the game who are actually winning this. And as you probably have guessed, is that top tier guy. Is the top guy. He's got the muscle. He's probably very, very, very attractive to look at. He's probably a bit older. He's probably like 24, 25. And he just has kind of the pick when it comes to women, because all the women, like, they have so many options to choose from, and they're only going to, realistically and understandably, they're only going to choose the top guys, aren't they? Why would they swipe right on a guy who's just average when they've got the top guys like wanting them too? And women kind of, I don't think probably like really understand this. Maybe if they're quite naive, quite young too, and then yeah, like I say, they normally end up like getting fucked over really. So yeah, I think that's from my experiences anyway. That is kind of how I see the modern day dating scene, because like I say, a lot of it is just online these days through dating apps. Obviously, you got Instagram too, which is very similar. I'd say it's probably a better way to kind of like meet people though. And you can kind of like, as a man too, you can kind of show like other aspects of your game, and you've got a lot more pulling power. You can kind of show off your lifestyle more, kind of show what you do on a day-to-day basis, whereas a dating app is just solely based on what you look. So maybe if you're not the most attractive guy and you've got like a lot of money, at the end of the day it is what it is, and a lot more other things going for you, then that's going to be appealing. You can show that on like your Instagram too. But yeah, like I say, that's kind of how I see things. Maybe some people see it different, but I think from a lot of people I've spoke to, they kind of see it in the same way. If you've kind of had an experience on like dating apps and you've been single for quite a while, and kind of like I say, I really do. I'm not trying to say this in a bad way or anything, but I do think there's just not enough like kind of awareness to why kind of men are really like struggling these days and feeling lonely, deprived sexually, intimacy. Like, it's just not, they just don't have that anymore. It's just, and there's just such a high percentage of people, young men, that are kind of just giving up, which is obviously never the good option. So you have to kind of think, well, okay, you said all this, but what is the solution? And the solution, yeah, it's very difficult for both men and women, I believe. And for a man, I think at the end of the day, you kind of have to play the long game. You have to keep just going back and working on yourself relentlessly until you kind of get where you want to be. Like, I've been working on myself for a year and a half now, and I made a lot of progress in getting to where I want to be. But I'm still not there yet. I'm still not, especially when it comes to women, I'm not getting the women that I believe I deserve and want to kind of be with. So what other option? I could either kind of give up and like settle for less, which I'm not going to do, or I just have to keep working till I get to where I want to be. And that's kind of the advice that can only give to young men out there, because it's not easy. It's more difficult than ever. I don't think it's fair, but it is what it is, and you kind of just have to kind of deal with the cards you've been dealt, and do your best and work on yourself, build your body up, build your wealth up, build your social skills up. All of these type of things, you've just got to, like I say, just relentlessly work on yourself, and within a couple of years you will naturally gain a lot more attraction from women. And if it comes to women, obviously it's a lot more difficult for me to say as a man, but if I was kind of like in a woman's shoes, I definitely would not use dating apps whatsoever, because I think it would completely just fuck with you mentally, and I don't think it's healthy, and you don't think you need them whatsoever. I would, as a man, I would continue to like, I would work on myself as well, and I feel like if you put the work in as a woman and you do that from a young age, by the time you're 20s, early 20s, 25, there's a high possibility you will just have an abundance of men that want you in real life, or like message you on Instagram and stuff, and would happily like wife you up or something. Um, and yeah, they will kind of like look after you somewhat kind of for the rest of your life, and then you're pretty much like set. I mean, some women may not kind of like this, but I think that's kind of how a lot of women kind of want things to be. They kind of want a man there to kind of who can look after them, maybe not completely, but who can like financially support them, who they could kind of see something long term. And I definitely kind of, yeah, like I say, kind of that for that to happen before they get to 25. I think that's the best time, because a lot of high value men will kind of do value beauty very highly, and they obviously have a lot of options, so they're gonna naturally go for the most beautiful younger women. Um, I might get hated, and I'll probably get called a misogynist for saying this, but that's just the way it is. That's just how the game is. Some women just think that they can have all the fun in the world. They can have all the fun in their teens, and then in their 20s and all of this, and then they can go like 30 when they want to have family and kids and find a top tier guy then. Well, it just doesn't work like that unless you're really like a top tier like models, really been looking after yourself, and yeah, you'll probably be fine then. But that's just how it is. Like I've said, men peak later, women peak earlier, and I'd say the same for men. Like you're wasting your time if you're kind of like cashing in your chips at like kind of our age. I think you should definitely play the long game, um, and wait for bigger things, because that's when you kind of see the rewards. Is when you're about 30 plus and you've built yourself up, you've got a lot more going for you. That's when you're a lot more attractive to women, and as for women, they're a lot more attractive at like 20 to 25, and that's just how it is, and that's how I see things. If you disagree, then yeah, that's just how I see things. So you don't have to agree with me. But anyway, that's kind of how I see the modern day dating dynamics, and I think it is really toxic for both men and women. I don't think either of them are really having a good time in general. Obviously, people will say, "Oh yeah, I'm with someone long term, and that's good," but I'm on about general my experiences too. So remember that. So yeah, guys, I hope you've kind of enjoyed, and it's kind of give you an insight if you're not too familiar with the how the current dating scene is. Um, and maybe you've kind of feel the same. I'd be interested for you to let me know how you've kind of got on with the current dating scene, if you enjoy it or not. But yeah, guys, that's the video today. If you could like, share, subscribe, I really appreciate any support you could give me to this channel to get it grow as much as we possibly can. It means a lot, anyone that's supporting me. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, guys. Peace.